They had the best record all week. Amber Holland and the team from Kronos, Saskatchewan, finishing at 9-2, going against Ontario in this semifinal of the Scotties. Time to meet the teams now. Brought to you by Tim Hortons. Celebrate 25 years of Roll Up the Rim to Win. They are out of the Ottawa Curling Club, skipped by Rachel Homan with Lisa Weigel, Alison Kraviasek, and Emma Miskew. Kronos, Saskatchewan is just southeast of Regina. That's where the Saskatchewan champions are from. Skipped by Amber Holland with Heather Kalinchuk and the Schneider sisters, Tammy and Kim. Saskatchewan with the better record, 9-2 versus Ontario's 8-3, had the choice of the last rock. They get that. They also had the choice of stones. They've taken yellow. So they will have the hammer in this first end of play here at the Charlottetown Civic Center on our championship weekend, as Rachel Holman moves out, put the brush down for her lead. To get us underway in this semifinal, this is Lisa Weigel.
Lisa had very good numbers. More importantly, those numbers related to the fact that her skip asked her time after time for the rock top forefoot, whether or not they're ahead or tied or behind, and she made it time after time, never leaving Nova Scotia a chance to set up.
It's a real skill, isn't it, Linda, you know, to play the lead position and get them so precise. And there's another one right here, right on the center line in front of the tee line, not too close to the button, not too far away. It really helps, and this is too dangerous a rock for Saskatchewan.
Not Jennifer Jones, is she? We'd expect Jones to put up a corner guard at this point.
No, and of the two teams on the ice, Saskatchewan is the more conservative of the two, and will try and keep things a little more open. Don't forget how the loss happened last night. It was in the second half, and Amber Holland twice got things too complicated around the center guard and did not have a way out of trouble and gave up some big points. She has to be careful not to do that against Rachel Homan in Ontario. Rachel has the ability with her team to get out of trouble maybe easier. Amber maybe has to bail out sooner.
Hard for peace, go. All right, guys, hard up.
Ontario's coming off a game today, and often we talk about whether or not that's a huge benefit. It seemed to me that the ice was pretty similar last night and today, and the teams have chosen the same rocks, which is also a benefit.
It certainly is. You'd love to be comfortable with the rocks, and there's always slight idiosyncrasies. One pulls a hair more, one might slide a little bit farther as it comes into the rings. You really want to get either 8 rocks identical or certainly pair up your pairs so that your skips got 2 the same, or in some cases you'll change it up a little bit, but you have to be aware of all those rocks.
Okay.
Now, the final day of round-robin play was on Thursday. Ontario had all of Friday off before going on the ice this morning, or around the noon hour here in Charlottetown, and showed no rust at all, winning 13-5 over Nova Scotia. Now here they are quickly back on the ice, while Saskatchewan played last evening, losing 10-9 in the extra to Team Canada.
8, 9, 10. Lots.
This one's deep also.
It's coming down. 9. It's dying.
A little
8.
faster in the first end than in practice, and often we see the little extra kick happen, and then you get into trouble.
So it's a wide open first end, and wondering maybe if this was a game plan, Brian.
Hey, Vic, thank you very much. Before this one, I talked with Saskatchewan's head coach, Murph Fonger, and he paid this Ontario team the highest compliment, comparing them to a men's team. That being said, they realize that Rachel Homan has the big weight ability right through the entire team. They can throw that up weight. It's a great weapon. So I talked to Amber Holland, and I asked her how much she's aware of it. And she says, oh, we're aware of the weapon, all right. So I asked Amber, will you try and make her draw maybe a little bit more in this game? And Amber just gave me a big smile and said, we'll do what we have to do. So it will be very interesting to see how this one plays out. Vic.
As we play second stones, there is Murph Fonger.
Whoa! No. Up a bit. No. Just clean.
And eventually, Linda, he has to get into, or the team, Saskatchewan, does have to get into some more complicated play, and it's going to involve some draws, and they just may leave themselves some doubles that Ontario and Homan will have a chance at.
It's possible, Vic. I think the one thing Amber does, she's not having any trouble skipping. She's a smart skip. She actually just didn't get the execution in the ends where they got into the biggest trouble. But she does have to be aware of closing down the middle. And we've said it mostly against Jennifer Jones, but it applies against Rachel Homan as well. That showed up earlier today. You get too complicated in the middle, you don't have a room for an out, and Rachel can also punish you with the score.
It really shows up too, Vic, when the two teams, when do you bail? If you've got the high hard one from just about everybody from Ontario, you can maybe wait a little longer.
And it's not that Rachel can't draw. During round robin play, she was lower than Amber Holland, 72% for Rachel, 78% for Amber. However, earlier today, it would have been the draws where you could point the finger at Rachel and say those were the shots she was not making as well.
9.5. Yep. Firm. Yep. Hard. 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 Really hard.
Watch the back one.
Yep. Stay on it. Stay on it. Okay.
And they will stuff it. So that is an Ontario stone at the back.
What's interesting is that rock that was just out could have been swept harder by Saskatchewan once it hit the tee line to ensure it went all the way through. And those are the little things that often you don't pay enough attention to that will be costly. At the moment, not a huge thing, but you never know if that one forces you to the singles.
Well, that's what I was just going to say, Russ. The problem is here, if Ontario plays this properly now, Saskatchewan playing an open end, looking for a blank, they're going to give this back? No, they'll avoid the jam. But suddenly, Saskatchewan, who were looking for the blank, are maybe forced to take one.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's how fast it happens. And first of all, the rock that was an inch through the rings should have been in the rings. It was an overthrow to begin with, down that inside-out path. And the only defense I can give Saskatchewan is they had first practice. The ice a little crisper, but you have to adjust. You've been here all week, and that could be absolutely a costly error.
Yep. Hard. 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 Quick.
You're looking for the double. The only problem if you play it that way.
Oh, they got it. So
a
a little bit of a bailout for Kim Schneider. She picks it up and gets the team out of trouble.
I think they were playing it the other way, and it overcurled and got it the other way, the harder way across the top.
Play your own shot, do your own thing.
Kim will tell you she jammed the first one just as she knew what it did in that spot.
Great shot. Way to get the team out of trouble.
This normal. Whoa, easy. No, get off. Whoa, Allie. Down a bit. That's good. Okay. Carry.
That's a nice rollout for Amber. That does give her a chance to play a draw.
Nice. Yeah, with any weight at all, it doesn't go at all. No.
Well, as mentioned, it was a tale of two halves for Saskatchewan and that 1-2 page playoff against Canada. Saskatchewan, with the last rock to start, opened with a deuce. We're leading 5-2
Just right in, hey?
at the midway break. But then after that was a
pretty quick
couple and then a steal of 2 and a big 3 for Team Canada as they clawed their way back and eventually won it in the extra, the final 10-9.
Looks like lots. Running, looks like lots. Look up. We're just cleaning. Well, it looks like it's tons. It's curling pretty good. Okay, good.
Interesting in this game, you see Tammy Schneider just leaving there on the right. She's battling some injuries. Took a tumble over a brush, hurt her elbow and knee, and then throwing the lead stone for Ontario, Lisa Weigel. She's been battling a pinched nerve in her shoulder, so a long week starting to take its toll.
Could have swept that back a little farther once they were guaranteed in the rings. The deeper it goes, the deeper this rock will be, the easier it is to roll out for on Amber's last one.
Control, get up. Whoa. Control. Whoa.
Rachel trying the other turn in this spot. Both seem to be pretty straight.
Clean. Clean it.
I think this is the one she likes to throw.
I would think she'd default to the out turn if she had the choice.
Okay. I'll give you feel. Okay.
Just the way she throws it, it doesn't show up in the stats as far as the number she throws, but she throws a very straight out turn. It's very consistent in the way it travels down the ice.
You got it.
So Saskatchewan looking for the blank here in the first. Helped out by a raised double made by Kim Schneider.
Yep. Hard.
It'll move here.
Really hard. Clean in. Clean. Take it out.
And there's the blank to open things in this semifinal of the Scotties. When we come back, Saskatchewan once again will have the hammer. On this Saturday afternoon, our championship weekend of the Scotties here in Charlottetown. And the opening in is a blank. So Saskatchewan will once again have the last rock playing the Yellowstones. Out in front goes the centerline guard from Ontario, and this time, no wasting time. The shot, though, Russ goes a little deep, just back corner.
Yeah, a lot of people cheering, but not really for the right spot. That's if this rock's made properly, that's about the worst spot you can put it. But it still has to be well made. You're talking Lisa into throwing the cold button here.
At the end if you can. Where? 5. Let's go there.
I talked about the similarities in numbers between these two teams. The two leads were even at 85% through round robin play. But interestingly enough, the plus minus was different. Heather was a minus and Lisa was a plus, and that's looking at every game and how you feel against the opposing league. Now there's a nice shot. So Lisa responds very well to somebody making a good shot. She makes it even better.
And now the yellow one, as you can tell, is very detrimental for Saskatchewan.
Line's pretty good. You can read a little. You're good for line. Long 4. Yep, you gotta go. Gotta go line. Hard line. Great. Hard for line. You're good. Whoa.
Oh, nice looking shot.
Got a girl. Nice shot.
Oh, very nice. The two leads. Lisa Weigel, Heather Kalinchuk.
Top 4.
This is good. Just top 12's fine. Quick alley.
So what Rachel is trying to do is close down that 4 foot and not give Saskatchewan much room to work. So looking for top 4 and an overlap on the front 2.
By going to the other turn here, if you freeze to the outside of the one that was just thrown, you'll never get it out because it's frozen on an angle to the red one. So by changing turns, freezing to the yellow, then the yellow can be removed later.
We're not to it. We're to it.
Gotta curl a lot. Sit. No. Okay, Allie.
So yesterday, Vic, we were giving you the point to bail out. You can't keep going with those angles the way they're setting up, and Amber doesn't want to get closed down to taking just a single or maybe even getting into trouble not able to get at the button.
Yep.
So here comes the peel on the front one.
Quick. Clean. Yep. Whoa. That's good. Okay.
One thing to make the peel, but they kept the weight soft enough and managed to yell whoa soon enough and kept a bit of a corner guard there, and that could come into play later.
So now the challenge to put up some guards for Ontario.
3. Let it come back.
And it starts with Allison Kreviazuk.
2, 3.
Please take it. Okay,
Yeah, go across the line.
Hard. Hard, yeah, right up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, hard.
Go, Cam.
You like doing that? Are you good right here? Good. What do you like?
Huh? Bump?
Like bump? Yeah, bump's good. 11.
Go, Tammy.
The guard did not protect against the yellow, and so Amber's going to try and make a play. They're playing it quietly because they don't want to blast things. The one red won't go.
Whoa, 10.5. No.
Ton of rotation here. It's a little straighter spot. They have to wait as long as they can.
No. Okay, Tammy.
Not bad.
Go. Okay.
Hey. Hack? Hey.
Seeley's half, eh?
Yeah, half.
You could do that too, but
I could see a lot less this one.
this might be easier.
Hey, let's make it.
Hack.
Hey.
Can.
Okay.
I think we're just
Emma Miscue
Yep.
throwing the
Little
third
ball.
stone
Whoa.
for the Ontario champions from the Ottawa Curling Club.
Hard. Whoa.
Nice soft weight here.
Roll it over, Lise. No double. Easy.
Had to
And
be that
passes it through the
quiet.
hole.
Yeah, to get it through the hole. Exactly right, Vic. Very nicely played.
Good. Their shot. You like that? Yep.
Yes, they are shot. Ontario is sitting one, top edge of the 4.
I thought Amber might go the other way here. You can see a very small half on the other turn, the in-turn for a right-handed curler. Just trying to get to the corner of this red one. It's over-buried.
Line's a little tight.
You hate to
6.
leave the red one there. It's in
then.
such a nice spot for Ontario.
Room. Look up. It's not moving. A little bit. Okay. Yep. To get by this one. Yep. Hard.
We're by it.
Hard. Whoa, you're all over it.
I know.
Okay. Good.
A little rub and roll leaves
Just-
Saskatchewan sitting one, but it is open.
Nose is a double.
I'd have to throw it down.
Just even if you get the roll, it might double them off.
Okay.
So I don't mind sitting right there.
Okay.
Like board.
Okay.
Little down's not bad. It's not curling too much. Back to board.
Trying to get to the nose to make that double. They roll buried, that's not a problem
Whoa,
either.
whoa. No, never. Get off, Alex.
No.
Board. No. Okay, go hard across the face. Go. Go. Hard. Good.
And that's pretty fancy shooting.
That was a very good plan B call by Rachel.
I shot him. It's a good call. I messed up.
There you go.
Same weight.
Same weight.
Little outward motion on that release. Both the Emma and Rachel seem to have that, which I think makes them so good because they can read off of each other. But that out-turn tap is probably the hardest shot in their repertoire.
Line's good. More line. Yep. More line. Room. You can.
We can wait.
Room. Let it move. Needs to move Take it here.
Yep.
This is not the way you want to be setting up if you're Saskatchewan. You're trying to draw into the middle. That's where Ontario wants you to play. You're having to draw against a rock already almost into the 4-foot. That means a tiny scoring area. And to get by it in a straighter spot, you're just hanging out and leaving an open shot.
Plus, there's that red tap. Ontario's controlling that scoring area again, and you can ask Nova Scotia how that worked out. You have to, I think, coming around with the other turn, it's 3/4 open now. You could have tapped it behind the line, and you reverse those colors, and then you have Ontario throwing a tough shot.
Yeah.
I think Amber has to be very careful with her third slash. She needs to look at that house and see what the picture she wants for her shots. It may not look great after the thirds are finished, but after her shots, that's what's important.
Clean.
No.
Rachel Holman.
Yep, solid hard. Whoa. Yep. Hard. Whoa.
Clean. Stay close.
Whoa.
We're the board M. Oh.
Ontario is sitting 3 without last rock here in the second.
They corrected their weight and just as it was coming in.
For us, is there room to get in there to get to the button?
Yeah, there certainly is, Vic, but the bad news is how do you bury it? You can certainly bury part of it, maybe half. You can go to the back 4, maybe bury a little more, but this late in the end, I think you have to be shot rock.
Now, one thing we did talk about yesterday and again today on this particular sheet, we talked about the dishing and the slight inclines on either side. Has that been taken away, or do you believe it's still there?
We haven't seen too many so far, Vic, but I'm pretty sure it's still there. I don't think they could change it that quickly, and it's nice to have it dished because everything comes back to the button, but you have to be very careful where you're putting the broom.
Yep. Back 8. Whoa then. Yep, take it back. Yep. Hard.
Whoa.
And it will stop back edge of the 4. As Ontario continues to sit the 1.
Well, if that rock was wide open to stop top 4 and Rachel could nose it, then you're not seeing the button. So if it was going to be wrong-sided, it had to come back. That means if Rachel makes any kind of play on it, the same path is there for the final draw.
Try and let her know what the weight is. If it's up or down. Yeah. Throw in a little less weight.
Yeah, I need hack,
Okay.
Great. Easy. Still hack. Easy. Whoa, get off. Hack.
Clean it.
Solid hack. Clean it.
Final stone for Ontario.
Easy. Yep. Yes. Hard.
Roll it.
Yep.
Wow. You know what? They haven't overthrown a thing, have they?
No, we built up the fact that they can throw the high hard run, so then the assumption is they can't do anything else. But no, they've got it all. They've got all the shots. Rachel's missed a couple of draws at the 4-foot during the week, but other than that, they've got all the weapons.
Yeah. Let's go.
Well, it's not pretty according to color, but at least the path is there, following the same path as the last time, and the button is available.
Line's pretty good. Line's good. Line's good. You need the button. You need backing? No. Line's good. Yeah, we do. Yep.
Drawing against a couple. Final stone.
Whoa.
Amber Holland.
That's good. Nice throw. Shot.
That's good indeed. Nice throw indeed. Saskatchewan under pressure the entire end. Will pick up their single here in the second. It is the 30th edition of the Scotties, the Canadian Women's Curling Championship, from the Civic Center in Charlottetown. And Saskatchewan pick up 1 in the second in an end where All the pressure was put on by Ontario, and now for the first time, the Ontario champions will have the last rock here in 3, playing the Red Stone.
Go, 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 go.
Kirstonian corner guard, which is not a wide corner. It looks like they might be able to get around it from the
Punch it
wide
open.
side, even though it curls hard from the
2
wings.
guards is fine.
And then
Sure.
the center guard. And this
What
is
kind
where
of weight?
Rachel plays it a little
D-line?
differently.
Okay.
She does give tight ice on the come around and doesn't mind chipping
Just
the front
freezes
one,
fine.
which I like.
Absolutely, it's the way to go. If you were legally able to move that, Yellow Rock, you would.
Yep,
So,
yellow line. Yep,
Nudging it out of the
go.
way, sets up
Lean
another
down.
corner,
Go.
opens everything
Hard,
up.
Guys, go. Hard. Hard.
We haven't seen it made very often. Most leads are a little scared of it, and they kind of slide right by, but this is all over it.
She's light, too. It was supposed to be a little chip. It's going to be a raise.
Okay. Elise.
That was supposed to be back 4, back even 8 weight. And that's just top 12.
Yep. Top 4. Go. It's a little farther out. Line's good. Stay close. 5, 6. Line's really good. Line's great. We can yep, line's really good. Yep, yep. You gotta go. Okay. You gotta go line. We gotta go.
Out on the hill, it'll really hard hog line in.
Whoa, Kim. Okay, that's fine. Kim down.
So here's where the ability of the upweight throughout the lineup really helps.
So 3/4
Trying to
high.
move a lot of rocks,
Almost
clear out the
nose.
front.
No. Close. Shut out.
She gets rid of the Saskatchewan guard, replaces it with her own, leaves the shooter out in front as well. As we take a look at the week that was for Ontario, opened with 5 straight wins before losing to Saskatchewan. Then they stumbled, losing 2 of their next 3, and then they finished very strongly and, of course, beat Nova Scotia in the 3-4 game. And convincingly, too, 13-5.
And that was a great
Bring it
recovery.
over a bit.
We spent the first part of the week talking about how well Ontario was
center.
playing, and then a
whoa,
little bump in the
whoa,
road, you
whoa.
never know, and
That's
they
good.
rebounded from the losses beautifully.
And that was one of the question marks, Russ, coming into this week. We knew they had their junior
It's a little
experience,
more than 2
had been
games, like
impressive
7.
in some early women's bond spiels, but how would they respond to the pressure? And the fact that they did, as you say, started to leak a little oil, they were able to plug it and come back.
Hard. Hard. Roll it, Lise, roll it. Just show
Oh
it.
my, look at this. Got everything going. All the yellow is gone, and now the reds are out in front.
We saw them play taps last time, but here it comes. Here comes the weight.
Well, as Vic said, they're leaking a little oil, but it's a Ferrari engine.
No.
It's a solid team, and you can't give them any opening. We talked about it a couple of years ago with Jill Officer probably leading the way with the big weight, accurate big weight, I should say.
Line's pretty good.
Any of the
4.
young
Wait a
women's
bit.
teams that I've taught, that's what I try to
Get around.
impress. That's what's going to happen next in the game for the women's teams, and here's a whole team of them that can do it.
Well, earlier today, Rachel Homan said to Brian that she thought the up weight was beneficial to the women's game, and it's something, Linda, I know that you said
Yep.
for many years you couldn't understand why the women's team didn't play. So we looked at the Ontario week. Here was Saskatchewan, absolutely brilliant, winning their first game. Then they lose to Nova Scotia into the 1-2 game, and they dropped that to Team Canada in the extra 10-9. And so here they are into the semifinal with an early 1-0 lead, playing 3.
Hack. Whoa, up. Just hack. No, he's pretty
You
solid.
opened it up beautifully. You don't want to miss everything going by.
Girl.
Little outward motion. Just trying.
Stick around.
Ham.
Hurry up.
That's fine. Ham.
There is a lot of
Same thing,
different
Kim.
ways to achieve extra weight.
Up a little.
I guess the two biggest ones I talk to women about is training the lower body strength to get the kick from the hack. And then the second one that is taught a lot by the Canadian Curling Association is the arm extension. That's what Jill Officer uses, almost a push. Same with Kevin Martin. Like an extension to finish off the throw. That has to be on target. You have to be very careful with the training of that push to make sure it is accurate.
Yeah, there's an extra variable there that you really don't need unless you don't have the leg drive.
No, never.
Back 12 even.
It's going now.
Back 12.
Still deep.
Anything high is fine. Anything high blocks the way around those guards
Okay,
for
Kim.
Ontario.
Okay.
And that is too deep.
Okay,
Take this, guys. Have you been timing theirs at all? I clocked her at a 70, but I think they throw it differently. Very nice.
So it's a great example of how an end progresses. It's taken 5 rocks to get the path you want. So you've got 3 to try and set up your deuce. But it's set up so beautifully, the deuce is extremely
Where is it?
available.
9,
Certainly is.
10, 9, 10.
A little deep here too, but with a Saskatchewan mistake, it might come in handy.
And
Emma Miscue comes to the back 8.
4 with an extension. That's like a pretty positive extension. Okay. Well, I didn't think I pushed it. I just extended. It was just fast, I think. Okay.
I thought you threw it all of them.
I don't think she'll be fine.
Well, coach team, there's no panic there. They just
Mine trying top 4.
thrown one heavy and they go down and discuss it and talk it over and decide why it was heavy.
Is the hair less ice than Kim took? Yeah.
And here's the ice that you were talking about, Vic. You could get to the button by going out into the 12-foot and catch the bigger swing, or you can take it down the 4-foot. And with Amber, she doesn't have as much of a tendency as Rachel Homan to throw it a bit in out. So this is pretty tight ice.
Sure, that's exactly it. I took the words out of my mouth. It does look tight. If you're going to throw it deep, you're okay, but ideally in front of the tee line would make some sense.
Let it go early. We're 7. Go then. You can wait. Room. Right up. You're just going top 4.
Yeah, I know.
Do you need backing?
We can go to the back one.
We can go to it. Yep. Right to it.
Managed to get it by because it's a little deep.
Now, interestingly enough, when you listen to that front end, and it's one of the better ones, she said, let it go early. She let it go early, meaning Holland released it early. Any significance to that?
Let it go early meant don't brush it early, Vic.
About the same you threw on your first one last time. Okay.
It's just though the release, maybe she was a little full of the broom.
Now, why are they having such a problem here? Is it just that they haven't adjusted? It's that much quicker that they can't stop anything top 8, top 4?
That's what Emma's suggesting, and I guess we'll buy that.
It's timing about the same, Vic. It's fast, but during the round-robin play, we were timing some rocks 14.5 to 15 seconds hog to hog.
Sometimes, too, when you start brushing rocks in the same path, you really polish that one spot up, and it can make it go a little farther, but there really is no excuse to be that deep.
The curl is not there in this particular path they're taking. That also means that it has an easier slide, won't be dragged off by the curl.
Just 6.
Just 6, guys.
Just 6.
Finish it.
No.
Well, just 6 is right there, top 4. So Rachel Homan is able to find the right weight as she wraps it around the center guard.
Nice shot, Rach.
Roll. I think you can roll that far to get it out past this one. Because these aren't frozen, right? So we don't want to leave any double. Well, I guess she's got a long run. You can just go here too, but she's still got that. I think this.
What Linda was saying is the ice is a little bit dish, so basically you get the feeling it's like that. There's more curl out wide, so you can actually put the broom in that area and you can put the broom where they have it now, and almost every rock ends up in the same spot, roughly in that area. In this case, they might, Linda, be smart to be light, if anything, and there's no draw this way for 2, and it would be a tough draw because of this corner guard.
Wait here, so it might finish a bit at the end. Okay. Okay.
The first talk was about trying to tap that rock, and although if you had to score 2, you could play some sort of tap on that rock if you were throwing last. I think that's the kind of shot that is missed more often than made.
And again, because of the ice, I think you're inside the hill. You're not out on the wide stuff where you'll get the big curl. So it would be tough with any weight to get enough finish to chop that out of there.
We gotta go. 3.
You don't want this to just over curl the spot.
It's going to.
Better to just drop it.
Whoa, leave it. Hey.
Move that rock over 1 foot to the left as we're looking at it on the screen, and there's very little opportunity for 2.
Have a different place.
What happened there? Thought that would have been good.
Yeah. Caught the curl.
Well, not really, because when you guys were saying it was coming down, it wasn't curling.
Full 4 foot for a second point.
Just a hair more.
9? What was that? 91.
Yeah.
Emma missed you very cheap with the little more there, did you see? She barely, barely moved it. Final stone.
Lots of room. Might be a bit light. Go.
A little left.
Yeah. I think we're good.
Looks light.
Gotta go.
Lisa Weagle on the left. Allison Creviazic on the right. Gotta go. Full 4 foot for 2.
Hard.
Big scrub now. Get it through the hole.
Hard, guys. Go.
They 2. Full 4 foot for 2. A little bit more. Full 4 foot 2. There it is. Couple of points for Ontario here in the third. Ontario gets a couple, and it leads to this key shot.
We talked about the upweight ability, and that's what opened things up earlier in this end, but Rachel can draw.
She wouldn't be here if she couldn't draw. She wouldn't be the Canadian Junior Champion if she couldn't draw. The other impressive thing with this young team is the sweeping. There's no panic. Wait for line, wait for line. They knew they could wait as long as they could. Sweep it at the end. Money.
The key shot is brought to you by Cashmere Bathroom Tissue. Nothing feels like cashmere. And nothing feels like a Scotties title, the Canadian Women's Curling Championship. The winner will move on to play the 3-time defending champions, Team Canada and Jennifer Jones. That'll be tomorrow night. A losing team will play for the bronze medal tomorrow afternoon here in Charlottetown against Nova Scotia and Heather Smith-Dacey. Saskatchewan has the last rock here in the fourth, playing the Yellowstones.
I really do like the way that Rachel looks at the house and surveys and makes those decisions throughout the end, clearing, bailing, and then coming in with her 2 into the 4 foot once it's all available to her. A really nice shot selection and sequence for people to see how to get a deuce. It did not happen early. It happened on her rocks.
Exactly. Great come around with the first one in front of the tee line. That's what neither team could do up until that point.
So it's up to Saskatchewan to build something. First stone in the end for the first time in a long time isn't on the 4 foot. It's a little bit short of that. Corner guard, and here is the center guard. And it's pretty long.
So much curl with these rocks are so aggressive that when you do throw a guard, the tendency is to miss narrow, and it's exactly what happened with Amber's shot to allow the path for 2 last end in the third. And then you have to be careful. You either have to keep the weight up to get it to the close to the rings area, or you have to take a lot more ice because they're coming off those outside dishes that we talked about and curling early.
Line's getting better. Line's fine. Go if you need to. Yes. Line. Line. Hard line. Hard line. Hard. Go. Hard. Go.
No.
Just lighting. Okay, sorry.
tap.
Just see, top 4 is good.
Yep. Little short's fine.
A lot of teams would hit that yellow rock. It's in a very easy position to be promoted behind something. But Ontario's staying aggressive.
It's a little light.
Yeah,
Okay,
you could
one.
hit roll too and do a lot of the
Okay,
similar
double.
things she's trying to do here. She's actually trying to move the rock
6.
up.
Oh, 5, 4.
You have to be careful
Yeah,
of
you can
those
go.
that you don't somehow roll out or
Good.
tap this
Hard.
into the
Whoa,
open and leave
whoa.
a shot for Amber.
Yep, go. Hard.
Very confident
Just
skip
hard.
though, Rachel Homan. She'll keep coming at
Hard,
you.
line straight, go.
Just do it.
Hard, bounce it, go, go, go. Go. Okay. Nine. Yep, hard.
This is Tammy Schneider throwing the second stone.
Quick. Whoa.
Roll the other way.
Okay.
Oh, she
okay.
punches it right through the hole. Leaves her shooter out in front.
You do have to wonder if Tammy is still feeling those injuries, because last night, the first half of the game, she was very good. Faded, I thought, a little bit in the second half. And maybe that was a little wear and tear of all the brushing and throwing after falling and hurting herself in the day before.
Still ignoring the yellow dangerous rock. Has to put this in a good spot.
Line's good. Sure. 3. All there. Okay. Line's really good. Let's keep it clean, guys. 2, 3. It looks light. It looks fine, guys. Yeah. Okay, leave it there. It's over curling. Oh.
Huh. I don't know. Sorry, being strict right now.
It looks light the whole way. Is she like running it? I think so.
Depends how aggressive you want to be, but those rocks are just in
Well,
the 8 foot. You could tap that
like
yellow
a heel?
just about anywhere, as long as it's inside the 8 foot.
Like into it? Well, I can try to get this one. Okay.
Now, because they're overlapped and staggered that way, is there any? Could you somehow get in behind to take advantage of that stagger?
Absolutely, and I think by playing the yellow
Yep.
raise, Vic's the
Really
easiest
big.
way to do it.
Yep.
But more of a defensive style with Saskatchewan.
Whoa.
Nothing wrong with this. Opens it up, hopefully.
That's good. Go, 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 go. Okay.
They were attempting to get the yellow one, or the red one that is furthest in with the yellow rather than going by it completely. Rachel just putting up another guard. This is that point of the game when you have to avoid some frustration. Saskatchewan had some mistakes in the second end. Skipper was forced to draw against 4 mistakes just in the latter part of the third end, gave up the deuce. Now nothing's setting up, and they're seeing the opposition put up the guards. Sometimes that's why skips keep coming at you.
Guys, go! Drag it! Hard! Hard! Keep going! Keep going! Hard!
But
Well,
there
it's
is
not
a-
unlike, sorry, Lynn, it's not unlike other sports. I mean, you read the opposition. If you have such confidence in your team as Homan apparently and seemingly does, keep the pressure up if the others aren't making those shots.
It's a good idea, Vic. The only problem is what just happened. You leave the hole, and look at the mess that Saskatchewan can get a rock in behind if they can get this little bit of the front open up.
Now they've got to come through, and this is the opening for Kim Schneider.
Little firm.
There's a straight spot here. You don't want to hit the outside guard.
They're going to find it. Oh, it does get them both. Not quite. She'll get the top stone. The shooter will not just hang on. Nearly spoke too soon. But there is still one stone half covered.
Just didn't want to come up to achieve the shot that was asked. And the shooter does roll over and does hit for a biter. So this is where you have to be careful if you're Ontario.
And to Linda's point, that's exactly, you have to be careful. Let's just assume they can't fill the opening here to stop this shot here. There's still a yellow raise on the far side that is easy to bury. A nibbler, they have to be careful.
You go tap it on an angle. Go. Hard.
This one is way out there. She's trying to get a little tap or a rub.
Hard, guys. Go. Hard.
And Homan right there for the brush to fill the hole.
Smart early call by the skipper there. If that bends a little more, that hole would be there.
I didn't feel wide on that. It was just the weight. Sorry? I didn't feel wide on that one, the first one. The first one? No, the second one. Oh, I know the first one it was. Oh, I gave you a...
Right there, Kim. Heel. You got it. Let's go.
Not sure why they're peeling these two, Linda. I know it can open up the front, but you could get at that yellow one and open up the back one also. I guess with the double peel, it gives them the forefoot.
Yep. Whoa. 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 Curl up. Good shot. Nice shot, Kim.
Boy, the way that one spun over, that one red rock now, that top stone you were talking about bumping up just on the left side. That may be, that red rock may be in the way just a little bit.
Definitely got things moving. There's the spin. I think, Vic, the yellow one is still available. A little angle chip if you want it. But the problem is that rock now is mostly covered, the one belonging to Ontario.
She going to throw the guard or is she coming in, you think?
I think the guard. I missed the call, to be honest. I think it's the guard. It would be a little dangerous to come in. You hang it out here a little bit, set up a double, and you could give up 2 or 3 points.
Mine's more important. Don't jump this.
They might be trying to hide a piece, though.
10? 4, 10? Yeah.
I think they were talking about a halfway guard.
4-10 is the split she just asked for, so that'll never make the rings.
3. Line's good. Line's good. 2, 2, 3. Easy.
So 2-3 is midway
3. It's got a curl
between
on.
the hog line and the house.
Least take 2, 3.
Line's fine. Line's fine.
Take it, Least.
You don't need
Tight
to
3.
finish it. You don't need
Really
to.
tight.
Just leave it. Right there is fine.
Yep, yep.
No. Please wait, Rach. Sweet.
I'm going to say she's played this job before.
There's room to come in.
Yeah, and only because the guard's over too far, isn't it? It's it did the job to guard the red one, but it being close to the center line of that, it acts as cover for this next rock.
Sorry. Okay, you need 4 foot. Yeah. Let's go.
So,
Well, through the first 3 and
So 14? Yep.
the stones of this end,
Let's go.
if it was a car race, Saskatchewan's been always chasing. They just haven't been able to dominate here.
No, and you feel it too, Vic. You feel like it's scrambling. You sort of have to settle down, and a deuce here on Skipper's Rocks would do just that.
Okay. Line's nice. Line's great. Bit of room. Line's good. Perfect. Top 4. Room.
Well, they haven't let up, have they?
Climbing.
Calvin Chuck and Tammy Schneider.
Finish it at
Now
the
they'll
end.
back
Yep.
off.
Go down. Top 4. Yep.
Finding the hole. Oh, they backed off, remember? Oh, there it is. Top 4. And they'll nibble at the button. Yeah, I thought there for a moment Russell was going to die on them.
It did look a little, once they knew it was by, they relaxed for a second and it looked like it carved in a little bit, but well thrown rock.
Have to curl here more. Bit of room.
Things didn't work to get it opened up, so a nice call by Amber, and then you have to execute. It has to be 4 foot, and there it is.
Be a hair, not too bad. Could have let it go a little, but nice throw.
All we gotta do is tap it to back 12.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's back 12 late. Yeah, back 12.
Not a lot of this is showing. Very similar to the path, though, they did throw coming this way in 2.
So Rachel should be closer. She should have the feel for the speed to make that happen.
Final stone for Ontario here in the 4th. They do lead it 2-1.
11. Close. Yes. Hard.
Weagle.
11.
Treviasek have to get it by their own stone just off center line. Big scrub. Huge brush now. Get it by their own. Can they? No. Now they'll spin in the double rub and roll, and it'll finally stop at the back edge of the 8-foot. And so it will be a draw for 2. And the first mistake we've seen from Rachel Homan.
And you learn from your mistakes, Vic, and it really was the guard. That was a very tough shot. The best curlers in the world are going to miss that shot more often than they're going to make it. But the reason it was hard was because of the first one, Linda.
It was, and she chose to play the tap on that. You could have drawn and tried to close the scoring area, but we know Rachel, she wanted to get that out. And
here you go.
Her guard got in the way.
For the hair more.
Mine's pretty good.
What do you think?
You're on your own.
So just like
You're on
last
your
end,
own.
it is the
No
skip
backing.
trying
You
to
can't
generate
move
the
it.
deuce on these
That
teams.
looks like a lot.
Boy, this
Whoa.
front end is just backed right off. Kalinchuk and Schneider.
That's flying.
Not 2 hours yet, though.
Backed right off here. Now the bounce.
Good.
And she'll use the backing to get the deuce. Coming out of turn 2, she takes the lead. Sandra Schmerler Foundation Day here at the Scotties. Many of the players, including Heather Smith-Casey, Amy Nixon, sweeping the audience looking for donations. The foundation, formed in 2001, the legacy to the 3-time Canadian World Champion Olympic gold medalist. At center ice, Teresa Breen, Vice Chair of the Sandra Schmerler Foundation. The check to Dr. Peter Noonan, a pediatrician with the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, the Neo Intensive Care Unit, and President Kathleen McDonald, and Kim Dolan, the PEI host of the committee chair. This week here in PEI, $60,000 was raised, matched by the foundation for just slightly less than $111,000. We will have our Sandra Schmerler telethon on Sunday, March the 6th, day 2 of the Tim Hortons Briar, and there is the number you can call to make a donation to the Sandra Schmerler Foundation, because just like Sandra, champions start small. Saskatchewan scores 2 and 4. And now here in 5, Ontario has the last rock, playing the Redstones.
Just through?
Well, it's a great demonstration of how even in a scrambly end that did not go well, you still can generate your deuce if you can get it a little opened up, get a little mistake from the opposition, and they're rocking in the wrong spot. And Amber made 2 very nice draws.
Now in hindsight, Russ, when you go back to that last rock by Holman, and she's just trying to push it back, she wanted to play, back 12 weight, crashes on the guard. As we watch Lisa Weigel come around, would she have been better to maybe take a little more ice, just play down to it, concede the one?
Yeah, I guess you could have. You could have frozen 2. That's exactly what happened. That was the choice Amber had the end before, block off the scoring area for the 2, and no question about it. It was a tough shot too. So, but the young skip thought she could make it, and wasn't far off. Just grazed the guard.
Line's pretty good. Wave's pretty nice. No bounce, guys. Line's pretty good.
The way that Amber played the guard on the rock in the house this end, she played it so that the outturn side was a little open. I think she's been scouting because Lisa throws predominantly in turns, and so you make an assumption she might miss, but it was a very nice tap back on that outturn by the Ontario lead.
Like back 4. What if we just throw the same sort of weight? Try to get inside that yellow one.
That guard's going to hurt us.
All right. Get wick and roll in. It's okay.
Just back 8.
Back 12.
It's not wrong to get rid of the guard. It's definitely going to be a problem for you.
Much more than back 8, though. It would be very difficult to get to the inside of this yellow one.
11.
More than mine?
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
11. No,
Danger with the extra weight here is because yellow onto your own red and removing the red if it's heavy enough.
Solid. Can't hit her on through.
And they will. They'll punch it all the way out the back.
Let's go here.
The thought process for the call of the shot was fantastic. Just throw back ring weight. If you wreck, you wreck. But it didn't translate to the thrower. The thrower missed it the only way he could miss it, with a little extra weight.
Yep. 10. Hard. Really hard.
So Saskatchewan will hit out that rock top 12
Yep.
belonging to
Hard.
Ontario and sit
Hard.
3.
Hard. Hard. No roll.
No roll.
Set.
Go then.
Yep. Go hard.
Oh, look at the roll as well. Goodness. In behind the corner to sit 3 without last rock here in the 5th.
Can we peel it into that rock? Go this way?
One little mistake and you get punished in this game against these top teams. They wouldn't have minded just rolling actually to the center line area and stayed behind the guard that is there. And that's not a bad shot. Couldn't force
Yep.
the end.
Hard. Hard.
Here's the bailout.
Alison Kreviasek will run it back and drive it through. And the shooter will roll over for another corner, covering the 8-foot.
You're hoping to get the one in the house.
It might redirect on the back one. Could have got them all.
So a 95-4 here? I think.
Not many lanes to draw either, Linda. There might be a little room on the in-turn side for the right-handed curler, but there's sure nothing on the out-turn.
Bit of room. Just a 2. Just a 2. 1, 2. Okay. Go. Wait and go. Okay. Line's not bad. Line's really good. 2. Just a whoa. Spin over curl.
Just
Whoa.
a 2.
No, never. No. 6. That's good.
Good shot. Good catch.
The challenge of throwing guards today, it's showing up. That one is long and over curled a bit.
A lot of over curls.
Let's get there, guys. Okay, let's make it.
There's only one path, and they didn't guard it, so the chance to get in there on the in-turn side.
For Emma Miscue.
Roll there.
Well done. 8. Well done.
No. 9.
Whoa.
Lights up. Okay. No, never.
No. Weight's coming down.
No.
To 7.
Okay.
Go.
Yep. Right back. Hard.
Right on the lid. Right, for the longest time, initial thought was it would be deeper than that, Linda.
And that's why it's hard to judge the line. So you're trying to decide if to take it back and leave a little more room in the button. It's kind of in a tough spot because actually if Saskatchewan puts it right on top of that, you've got nowhere to go.
Exactly. Emma might have a little slower one there. That's twice they've yelled 8, 9, maybe even as high as 10 in the second end, and it came right down to a 7.
Got a bit of room. Yep. You're gonna have to go.
7 being right on the button.
A little bit. Switch and go. Yep. So all you. Hard. All you. Hard. Every inch. Hard. Keep going. Hard.
I know that
Okay,
scrubbing will bring it to the top 8. It's a very lonely looking red sitting in that bunch of yellows here in 5. Remembering Ontario does have the last rock.
No.
Yep. Lead the off, Ray. Yes.
Backline weight.
Whoa. Close. Yep. Hard.
Sneak it by, they did there. Hit across the nose, they did. Oh, and they'll move it just far enough.
Sweepers didn't want to go because it was quite a bit heavier than they called for, but it started to curl early.
Over curled.
They they didn't want to touch the other yellow first. They wanted to hit the one top 8 as tightly as possible. That was a tough shot. Just a little wick.
For this run, though, pretty much to hit it anywhere.
Yeah. I still like that. Okay. I think it'll be less. It's just not as.
4-1 here, hey?
Yeah, I'll just have to squeak by the one in the house. Hey, let's go.
There is enough room to tap it back and then sit for shot, eh?
It certainly
we
is,
come
Vic.
into it.
And even the dead freeze, even if you're not shot, if you
that
can
one
get it in the
past
right
the one in
angle,
the
it
house and they cross.
closes that scoring area right off.
No. Okay.
And normally we don't like the freeze sandwich where the opposition rock's in the middle of your 2, but there's not
one here, yeah.
the rock completely open. There's a guard out there, so it's not the same type of critical situation.
Yeah, a little on the high side, and that guard will add protection to be able to remove it.
Amber Holland,
We're
first
saving
of the
it.
skip stones
Whoa, then.
here in the
You gotta
fifth.
wait, you're on the red still.
We're just cleaning.
Whoa, can't go yet.
We're just
Go
cleaning. We
now,
don't have to
Denise.
go. Yeah, we do.
Right to it. Room,
We gotta
you're on
go.
red.
We can wait a bit.
He won't, yep. Whoa.
Get it there.
Whoa. To the face, yep. Room.
Go, Heather.
Go, Heather, go.
Oh, ho, ho. Have to look now at the pinhole. And it looks like it is yellow.
Great shot. Good. Atta girl.
Thank you very much.
Go. Good shot.
I think we are too. Good work.
Saskatchewan is sitting the one without.
Well, you like those?
Nice judgment. Great weight again from Amber. She's made a lot of draws this week. Tough draws. Ideally, a little more angle would have helped, but an awfully good shot just the same.
Just off nose, high side.
Yeah. And run it in. Gotta clear it up for something.
The red straight in. It's a tough one.
It's the multi-combination that makes it so difficult, plus that guard is fairly far out in front. As she said, trying to clean it up with nothing else.
Rachel Homan and her first. All on its own. Angle it back. There it is. Oh no, she'll kill her own, but replace it with one of the raised stones back 4. But it's gotten some separation.
Okay. A little something. Yeah.
Great try. That was very close to making it. A little unlucky and then a little lucky at the same time. Took out her own, but the shooter hung around in second position. And they still have a red raise on the intern side.
Yeah,
And that is the most critical part.
Yeah, I think so, hey?
Yeah, like she might still be able to slam it for 2, but
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Yeah,
You
right
like
to
it?
it.
I don't know if it'll be
Same.
second shot, but
This is where the thinking process changes.
go, you
There'd
got
be
it.
a lot of teams
Little
that
last
Amber
game,
would
I think.
play over the course of a year that she wouldn't worry about an angle raise. But not against Team Ontario here. They have to be cognizant of all shots that are available to the skipper, and that red raise is there. So I think they're going to come right in, Linda.
I do too.
still same weight. Let's go, you got it.
When you come in, we talk about this a lot. Sometimes you can put the rock in a spot that actually makes it a little easier for Rachel, because if you line them up wrong, set them beside each other, there's ways that she can slam into both of them and make the shot. So this is
Center room.
communication
You
that
need
is
to wait a
required
little.
to get it in the
Wait a
right
little bit.
spot.
No, you gotta
It's
wait
a great
line.
battle
You
against
gotta
one of the best
wait.
drawers I've seen in a long time against one of the best hitters.
Needs to get to the
As soon
face.
as we can go, let us know.
Whoa, you still can't. Go if you need to. Yep. Right to it.
We're to
Yep.
it. We're
Whoa,
to it.
whoa, whoa.
We're to it.
Want to line it up.
Yep.
We're to it.
Good.
Very nice.
To sit 2 without last drop.
That's not bad. She still has that top one, but
Yeah. And if you get it a little higher, it's not one.
Good sweep.
The angle just is not good here for Ontario. They can't possibly get more than one of them. The only way they can do it, and
Same shot, eh?
Rachel's seen it already, is onto this one. redirect in that way, and if they can stick it or make the double, they can score one, maybe two.
We got to hit the inside,
Great awareness.
Wow, how the momentum has changed here with that deuce in the fourth for Saskatchewan.
Just inside him.
Rachel Homan at the moment shooting just 69%. Final stone, Saskatchewan sitting the deuce.
No. Yes! No! Whoa!
Nothing yet. Weagle, Kraviasik, drive it back off the yellow. No, she'll drive it through the middle, and it will be a steal of two for Saskatchewan. Here in 5, we've reached the midway point. 4 big points for the team from Chrono in the last 2. 5-2 Saskatchewan. Before we get going with the second half, let's take the numbers after 5.
Well, you might expect Saskatchewan's numbers to be high. Yes, they are, because they're coming on strongly. But you might have thought with the first 3 ends being the way they were, Ontario's matched. The big difference, Rachel Homan is at 63% to Amber Holland's 85%. And on the hits, that's where Ontario is struggling. Normally, their big shot.
The numbers after 5 brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. So after the steal of 2 in 5, it'll be Ontario now down by 3. That'll have the last rock playing the Redstones.
And you do have to be impressed with Amber Holland. Russ, you and I were chatting about her abilities, and last night we saw a lot of big shots. I mentioned 4 doubles so far in this game. In the first half of the game, 5 big draws she's made for her team.
Yeah, the one in the second end just about ends the game if you don't make that one. And then Rachel Homan's ability to hit, but you can't hit what you can't see. Perfect come around in 3 to set up the deuce, and 2 more steals unassisted by the skipper.
And there's a big mistake by the Ontario lead. Lisa brings it in. It's supposed to be a corner. That means Saskatchewan can hit it. So that takes Rachel out of her comfort zone with the plan that she had for this end.
Yep, it's gotta go hard. Really hard. Hard. Squeeze. Hard, guys, gotta go. Hard. Sorry, Amber. Good. Sorry. Good.
Boy, execution letting Ontario down a little bit now, too.
Good. Definitely was. Light. Yeah, I gotta go. 2. No, it's fine. 2.
You talk about the lessons you learn and how well
Looks like
the Ontario team has learned some lessons over the course of the week.
shot.
The only thing is, it's right now Saskatchewan that has rebounded from the early mistakes.
Thanks, Charlie. Did your knee hit it when you went over it, or what? No, I slid up. Feel.
One other way, Vic, is to create a mistake is to put that rock maybe in this position. Now it's tough to peel. You have to put it through there. You have to put it through there. You tend to hit it dead on when you do that, and you end up with a miss.
No. Come on, get up. Okay.
Well, just a little redirection, and they will take out their own stone and still sit shot back of the button.
Funny way to improve your shot rock by a foot.
You're right.
Two. 3. 2. Finish it a bit. Yep, keep going, guys, hard. Good shot. Good there.
Okay, let's go, Tam.
I'm going to tighten you up a little.
Okay, got this one, hey?
know you were wondering when. Well, the time is now for our Scotties trivia. What year did Sherry Middaugh, who is here as the 5th player for Rachel Homan, skip her team? Oh, skip Team Saskatchewan. Oh,
Not
I didn't read her
Ontario.
enough. Oh, that's right. Because she did represent Saskatchewan. So what year did she skip Saskatchewan at the Scotties? Ooh. Okay.
Yep. Keep going, guys. Shot.
It's interesting, Ross, you pointed out the better position for this guard. The other thing
Put it a
about
little
it is,
thicker, Cam.
as a skip, I normally didn't like to give the same player the same peel twice, and she keeps putting it back in the same
Exact
spot.
same spot. And this, we know, we've been here all week. The inside-out shot's very straight with any weight, so you can kind of see it as a player. It just doesn't move. So you put the broom right where you want it, let it go, and it virtually does nothing.
That one a little thin.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Amber. Okay.
That was a little in-out release, just as I spoke.
That's why we were thinking to put one on the other side, because you could jam on a yellow one. Once there was one mistake with a red, the same thing happened on the red side.
That's all right. Still around, right? Yeah. 58.
Many people would wonder why they're not hitting to sit 2. It's just at this level, I think the hit and roll away would set up the angle, and they're concerned about that at this stage of the end, so they're trying to duck another, hoping that the collection in the center stays close together and leaves them a play after this.
6 hard!
Great call, using this as a corner.
Hard, guys, go! Come on. Hard! Hard, keep going, keep going.
Not quite.
Finish this part. Huh? Finish this part.
What a great try.
Way out there. Yeah, well, that was like mine way out. 2. Yeah, I don't mind there. Okay. 9.5. 8. Let's go, Kim. You got it. Oh, whoa. Right here, firm. 9-2. No. Right off. Roll it right out.
I'd like to hit it first.
Good. All right. Okay.
2 flares on 2 different turns for Kim. That's not something we've seen very much of. 2 mistakes in one end.
Now, what to do here? Sit and try and sit there, or try and roll away? Can you roll away?
You could try to go around the corner again, but it's getting late in the end, so they want to put it on top of the yellow. Okay. You're right, Vicky. It certainly could roll, but I think, as Linda mentioned, if wherever you roll, you probably set up roughly a half rock double. So I think we're going to try to freeze one in there and create a miss.
Emma missed you.
Yeah, go. Hard. Hard, guys, go. Drag it. Hard. Hard, keep going. Go, go, go. Hard. Hard, right up. Go. Hard.
And that's hard work.
Well, now time for the answer to our trivia. What year did Sherry Middaugh skip Team Saskatchewan? Remembering now she's originally from Rosetown, Saskatchewan, southwest of Saskatoon. Sherry?
In 1996, I skipped the Saskatchewan rink in the Scotties when it was held in Thunder Bay. Perfect.
And this week she played a couple of games
Let's get the roll.
filling in, coming in for Lisa Weagle midway through, and then playing in one game while Lisa nursed her pinched nerve in her shoulder.
That was very nice of Sherry to tell us. I didn't have to work that time.
Yep. Whoa. Yes. Hard. 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 Roll. Sit. Okay.
rolls across, pops into the open. But Saskatchewan and Amber Holland right now, she's just playing so well.
Oh, you can get shot. You just can't. If it's here, it's on shot. We got to get to the inside.
Try and get shot?
Yeah, it's just T-line back forward. It's like a line fit.
What?
So the edges are line, looks like. Should be able to get to here.
Okay.
Edge?
Couldn't have rolled in too much of a worse spot. He was almost perfect. If that stops in the button, it's a great chance to steal. And now if Ontario can sneak by that guard and he can get to shot rock, it cannot be removed.
Line's important. Okay.
Now, would you like to just sort of wiggle over if you can, get to the inside and roll into the crotch? I mean, is that the ideal shot?
Yeah, Vic, that'd be terrific. And with the red one in front of it, it's hard for Amber to protect against everything if you do it.
Oh, look at that. That says a lot. Rachel Homan at 63%.
Easy, easy. Lots around.
7.
No line, get off.
89% currently for
Stay close.
Amber Holland.
Lots of room.
Whoa.
No line yet.
Holman in her
Take
first.
it. Whoa, at the end. Whoa.
Just trying to climb up.
Yep.
And a little tap, and that will be your shot stone. No, I don't think so. Yellow at the back.
Didn't quite curl enough.
What's wrong with this?
So that yellow just below the 3 as your shot stone.
Yeah, but if I don't get there, she's got a double. Because she's second shot, right?
But even if you get here.
Yeah.
You know the spot we played it on your draws that end.
Yeah. That's probably the best was right to it.
I think so.
Okay.
Let's go. You got it.
Can't take everything away here, Vic. You've got the red tap for 1 probably at this point in time. You've got the straight back for possibly 2, albeit dangerous. They're going to try to do what
I think right 2 yards is good.
Rachel did, is come right to the face of their own rock for shot rock.
Okay. Yeah, let's go. So
Even top 4.
Yeah, even if you're just
as long
short,
as you're edge to edge.
Okay. A little piece around.
Okay.
Let's go.
It's the same as I was giving you here.
Yeah. Let's go.
Pretty nice ice when you're coming around using a guard in the full
Really?
8-foot.
You can wait. 7. 7.
Once you put the room down, it's very precise weight needed to get to that curl.
Stay
Wait,
with
pretty good. You don't have to go.
No.
You don't have to go at all. Line
Right to
only.
it.
We're right
Right
to
to
ours.
Okay, it needs to move up.
Well, we don't want to go at all.
Stay with it. Yep.
Line only.
Hard. Right to it. Hard.
Wow, how good is that? Amber Holland.
Stay with them. We're done, Heather. We're done.
You talk about taking away the end. And she just may have.
It didn't look like it was going to curl in enough at first. The brushers weren't on it. Often you think if it doesn't have brushing weight, it won't make a move, but look at that move.
That little bit of dish in the ice, they know they can get it out wide enough, it will come in from left field, and what a display of draw weight today.
Left size.
I think Rachel's going to throw a bullet, try to hit it as thin as she possibly can and make that triple.
Thanks.
Possible shot for 2, I believe. I think she'd be very happy with 1.
She's in everything. Don't forget now there's another shot top to the 8-foot center line that she may be able to bring back into play here. Final stone. This is against 2. Oh, and she'll be very happy with the single right there. Nice shot by Rachel Homan to get the 1. As it's been a one-woman display for Amber Holland here. Single. And Saskatchewan still leads by 2. So that will come your way at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Ontario picks up 1 in 6. Saskatchewan continues to lead 5-3, and now Saskatchewan and Amber Holland do have the last rock here in 7, playing the Yellowstones.
Well, there's a lot of skips that could not have played that shot with that kind of weight and had the certainty, I think, that Rachel had of getting at least 1 in that situation. 1 she got, so a little bit of a breather.
Very precise, had to hit it thin, and yeah, that was ball game if you don't make it.
Take it, go all the way. Hard, it's got to be.
One of the differences in the game so far has been at the lead position with Lisa missing a few of her shots. It's a nice come around for Saskatchewan, but there is a lovely angle by Lisa.
Good sweep, guys.
Bit of room. Okay, we can wait. 5, 6. You gotta let it work. Bit of room. No line. 7, 8. Needs no to move. Line. No, just a 6.
Ooh, that's way out there for line.
No. Right to it. Little bounce. No.
Get up of here.
Sweet Heather. Just full.
Okay.
As soon as you roll a little open like that, you can see what happens. It creates a bit of a pocket for the opponent, and
touch this and go there.
anything inside this yellow is going to be awfully difficult to remove.
Sorry?
Still the same weight, eh?
Yeah, I think so. You got it.
It's just an example of how the game has a feeling to it, that flow, that momentum, and it does go back and forth because a point last in for Ontario on a very nice made shot, then 1 mistake by Saskatchewan this end, and there's a little flow back. This could be a point where if this shot is made, that Amber will have to consider a bit of a bailout.
Wow, whoa, whoa, hard, whoa. Right. Yep, bounce off. Wasn't even close. Let's go, Tam. Well, I don't think I can get both of them. What do you like?
Once it bounced off, it's harder to double peel those.
No, like you can get them both, but that's coming here. I think we play that. I guess hit here and try to get it as thick. Okay. Feel.
Those are the little things the Ontario team, once they knew they'd wrecked, they swept it at the last second and bounced it. But if it stays angle frozen, this is such an easy shot to clear it away from the yellow.
Whoa. Whoa. No, never. Okay. All right.
Well, he touches nothing on the way by. 2 stones, red, they're in that control zone out in front.
You have to be sure you throw these the way you normally do. I think Tammy gave that a little extra, maybe thinking playing against Ontario, I need to do the same sort of thing, and Amber wasn't expecting it. And that went very straight, got lucky in the house.
Sorry?
We draw around.
Come this side. We won't be shot. Nor will we be on it.
Okay.
Straight tap?
Yeah, let's make it.
Okay.
You know, again, Russ, the question is when? When do you use those stones? They are golden for Ontario. Is now the time?
Well, you certainly could, because that's a dangerous yellow one in there. You probably don't want to wait forever, because you might see Amber go around herself. And you could also guard it and stop them from peeling it and prolong that, because you know Amber will hit for a while.
I don't know what to do with this.
Whoa. 4. Whoa. 3. 4.
That is very light.
And now has overlapped those 2 center stones.
Go, Tam. Let's use this. Hey, let's get the flop. 9.5. Let's go.
Do we go offensive or do we go defensive? A 2-point lead in the hammer, those 2 rocks out in front can be a problem. On the other hand, if you make this roll, it's a chance to score a big end.
Had It's a temptation for sure.
Clean.
Still on seconds rocks. I think Amber feels comfortable at this point.
Hard. 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 Quick. Hard. Quick. Whoa. Roll. Sit. That's good.
Oh, and she will roll it over and just tuck a piece.
Oh, the first one worked out okay.
She's throwing so hard.
Got to hit every bit you can see, I believe, to make the double.
4's not bad.
I have a bit more with board.
A miscue.
Back out. Board. Yeah, board. Whoa.
Yeah!
Hard.
Can they sneak it by those overlapped
Whoa,
guards?
whoa.
They did. Angle it back. Oh, and just not quite enough. They'll get it off the button. But it sits now covered by the thrown stone.
It's not a bad shot, though. The redstone top 12 is available, and as you said, Vic, the button is freed up. Amber has to be very careful here.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with this call. 2-point lead with the hammer.
Do you like this?
Scoring a point isn't the end of the world.
What would you do? Go after the red rock?
Is she not just going to slam her red in?
You can either double peel, and then I think that might be the best call in, and then everything's open and your shot's guarded.
Like, if you got to under roll.
You could hit that one and roll
down,
in.
then you just leave the whole forefoot again. Let's get in first. Okay.
You can tell the hack-in wasn't really happy with the call, but didn't make a suggestion as to the alternative other than talk about the one in the house.
Even 95.
This is where you do have to do a little scoreboard watching. I know if you think about Saskatchewan and last night, you don't want to go crazy and suddenly give the other team tons of opportunities to steal on you or anything like that, but you have to be careful here.
7 on her own. With it. Line, yep, for line. Line only.
The
We don't want to go.
2-point edge
8.
and the hammer at the moment.
8. Room. Close line. 8. Room.
Or back.
Really deep. Sit. Sit. Sit.
So there's the gift.
Okay.
As it stops back edge to the 4.
I'm not sure if Kim was really ready to throw that. She definitely didn't want to play it at first. That's a huge mistake.
Was it ever? The in-turn side's cut off. There's staggered guards. If this ends up in the forefoot, it's nearly impossible to remove because of your 2 yellow rocks, and they're working their way into a bit of a mess here.
Guys. 6. No. It's up anyways. Whoa. Take it, least. Go. Yep. Hard. Hard, guys. Hard.
Not up. That's a goal on it.
Not quite for shot stone.
Really came down again.
Back line. Okay.
That's just
It had a little less than all of it. Yeah.
She cleared the guard, but
I think it'll come with back line.
So that was just back.
Just
8?
back. It's
No,
just back
for Kim.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just a couple feet more. You got this. Let's
Big
go.
shot here if they could ever get to the inside. And
Close. Back line. Close. Clean. Room. Yeah. Room. Back line. No. Girl up. Come on in.
You gotta go on it, Amber. Hard.
nice shot, Kim.
Good. Okay.
Nice shot.
A little bump, though, leaves Saskatchewan sitting just the 1 at the back of the 4.
now we have this red rock that was ignored for the entire end. It's a chance for Holman to put pressure on Saskatchewan.
So they're going to pump up the red top 12.
Straight top?
There is a yellow one available, so it'd be nice to try and get this in a position where that angle slash is not used, or if it is tapped onto shot rock, then it would just bounce the yellow out.
like it's deeper and that you could hit and stay on the rings.
Just a hair more.
That way. Yeah. Yeah. That's what they were thinking.
Full line. Whoa. Get off, get off, get off.
No! Not even hitting it yet. 7.
8. We're definitely 8. We're up. Okay, great.
Going to come up enough to the nose and angle it back.
Hard, Em, hard. Hard.
No, not quite. Not even there for second or third shot.
Two big problems. Not only did it not push the red one where they wanted, but the shooter rolled away, didn't leave the raise back. If you were even just a little light and left the line on that, it wasn't bad.
The only thing, I guess, Russ, if you look at that, where the shooter wound up, it might be an in-off kind of situation. I don't know if you could use that if you need to.
You might have to.
I hate to be doing that against 4, though.
You got this. We're throwing or the one back there. Pardon me? Still the same here. Oh, yeah, I think so. Okay. Just a nibble of the
Break for Saskatchewan there. If that comes up another inch or two, it's in there for good.
I think a little bit more, Kim. A little more? Yeah.
These are the ones that have been over curling because most skips are smart enough to be a little light on this one. You can't be behind the tee line for obvious reasons. And as soon as you throw a little less weight, it curls so quickly.
At the moment, Saskatchewan sitting 2, back 4, back 8. Amber Holland and her first.
Nice.
She does have the last rock.
All you.
Here in the 7th
Line's pretty good.
and leading
Line's
5-3.
Okay, go then. Room still.
Line's
pretty
pretty
good.
good.
We're good. Just a nibble of the forefoot.
Yeah, we're good.
Easy. Whoa, it's sliding. Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, shoot.
Just wanted to nibble the forefoot, but she'll slide to back button.
I did not think I was going that crazy.
Well, they said sorry, but that is a really unfortunate mistake by the brushers.
So 2 in the forefoot, 1 back 8.
Move it to there. So
Yeah,
we can't box
even
that.
if you have back 4 weight, as long as we tap it on our shot. Yeah. Okay.
Anything light there, a foot over the hog line would have made it more difficult. I know you'd like to get it to the top of the 4 and score a big end, but it could not be past that 4 foot.
And it's not like Ontario hasn't been given the chances, though.
They have the chances, Vic. They had it on the raise, and it went too straight. We'll see if Rachel can figure out the combination of ice and weight to get this one locked in.
Yeah. Yeah. Seems good.
Line's important here.
Even a little nose tap would work. It's just the line is the key.
This is a quick spot.
Final stone for Ontario. This is a draw against 3, but it's an out for Ontario and Rachel Homan.
Line's really good.
Line's good.
8.
Now, how important is this for Lisa Weigel on the left and Allison Kreviasek? And then line being called by Emma Miskew. Oh, they're by there. And oh, they're by there. And look at the inside roll to grab the pin.
Great throw under pressure and maybe a little too good, Linda. It rolled almost buried, but if there is a chance on the in-turn side, it's for a bundle.
She playing back
They would have
line.
liked to have kept the roll of yellow straight behind that red, not chip and roll, actually.
Okay.
Difficult to get enough of this to not jam it on that back red one.
Yeah, how much of it do we have to get to?
As much as you can.
Okay.
And if you could punch that through that hole down that
Yeah, if you get to a third
yellow
of it,
train, you could maybe pick up 4.
Just back 8 then?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Don't forget the key thing here. She has the edge already. You want to
Pretty
keep
close, yeah.
the edge. You don't want to give up a
Let's
steal.
go, you got it.
Great point. It's easy to get excited and throw a little extra weight to tap this out, and it's not going to curl. If you could just throw a heavy draw, pump it for 1, that's not bad either. You're 3 up. Big shot.
Easy.
Final rock here in
Light.
7. She
Well,
leads 5-3
no.
right now. Ontario sitting in
Whoa,
the steal
back
position.
in. Whoa! Whoa! We're back 8. Never.
Tammy
Got it,
Schneider,
girl.
Callan, Chuck, they're just
Girl up.
chomping at the bit. They want to jump all over this. Can she catch the corner?
Cam.
Will
Hard,
it
Cam.
to the
Hard,
corner?
hard, 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 hard.
No, looks like it just may be a steal of one for Ontario. One red it is. Ontario is in within one. 5-4 Saskatchewan. Oh no, they let it slip away last night. What's going on here? Yes, a week from today we'll be in London, Ontario for the opening draw of the Tim Hortons Brier, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Jean Labatt Center. And the first game, look at this. This again much better. It'll be Glenn Howard against James Grattan from the Gage Golf and Curling Club in Oromocto. And guess who's on that team? You want to mention it, Russ?
Yeah, that little guy. He got snuck in there 3 years in a row.
Your son, Stephen, is part of that New Brunswick team, of course, and that'll be draw one a week from today. Oh, boy. Remember we said it was 5-2 Saskatchewan last night against Team Canada after 5, and then Team Canada roared back. Now, it hasn't been much of a roar so far for Ontario. They got 1-6. Coming off now a steal of one, but that all-important momentum. Saskatchewan trying to get it back here in 8. They lead by 1, and Saskatchewan does have the last rock, playing the Yellowstones.
Hard finish. Keep going, keep going.
I think the worst part is just that same tendency by Amber, and she had a couple of outs there and didn't take them, and that means she let that middle get closed. Now, the last couple of shots made it very nice for Ontario. They got the one right in there, and it was harder for Amber, but still, you've got to really watch that and watch the scoreboard and keep that momentum and the edge on the scoreboard on your side.
If you have to, switch and go. Line fit. Bit of room. Yep. Yes. Go, 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 go. Good.
Oh, good throw.
What?
T-line.
Yeah. Well, that's.
Just gotta get to
top
nose.
4 now.
Whoa.
Boy, Allison
5,
Kreviasek,
6.
she probably was looking for a place to hide after
7.
she ended up overlapping the guards in front when she tried the straight back raise, but it turned out well for Ontario getting the steal. If you're Saskatchewan now, it would seem to me, Lindy, you can't panic. You have to play it the way you've been playing. You just need to execute? Is that what it's about?
Well, you need to execute, but last in, Russ was pointing out ways for them to get out of trouble and not continue on because it did not set up well. You always do that survey point and how does it look? Are we on plan? And last in, the plan was score 1. And there was a lot of ways to keep it open enough to ensure you did. And so maybe they just missed that moment and then got into trouble.
Indeed.
And so that resulted in a steal of 1 for Ontario and 5-4 now.
Well, that's why you have to be careful because Rachel Homan was superb at stealing in round robin play on the left-hand side there. You see it, 19 ends she stole, and she only gave up 6. On the right-hand side, you look at Saskatchewan. They weren't as good at stealing, and they did give up a ton. 13 ends for 16 points were given up by Saskatchewan, and that's that tendency to wait too long to bail out of trouble.
But this end's not looking so good. Okay.
They've learned their lesson this end. The first chance they had, they made the peel, and I think it's a brilliant move.
So now it's tossing it over into Rachel's court, and she has to decide how aggressively she will approach it.
I don't mind touching that one again.
Stop it. Same weight.
What? Yeah, same weight.
Well, this call, I think, helped Saskatchewan. We talked about how congested it was last end, and it worked out as a steal. And now all the rocks are going to be in the rings. Yes, there could be 3 red ones in there, but there's lots of time to start bailing out without any shrapnel out in front.
4, 3.
So now the time, the call is that this is light. This is the time to figure out if you're going to let it drop, try and get an angle on the house. manage this one. And this again is light. So back to the point you were making about the rocks. Are they just reacting differently today?
Still like the top, eh? Let's go. 9 or peel?
Total flip in the strategy this end. Trying to keep it open.
Clean, prepare for 9. Good. Okay. Just hack. Okay.
The unfortunate part for Saskatchewan is the Ontario team doesn't have to be quite as desperate, doesn't have to be as aggressive. They can give up a point here. 2 down, score 2 and 9, and we got a ball game.
Yep.
I'm sure their goal is to steal, though, because a steal in 8 would be huge.
Wouldn't it be big? And then if you could force a 9 and have the hammer coming home.
Whoa! Hard! Whoa!
Shot.
Shot him.
The shot stone is the yellow rock. T-line edge of the button. That belongs to Saskatchewan. They do have the last rock. They have the hammer here in this 8th. But it is surrounded.
Play that. Okay.
If you know your angle, as long as you get to this side of the red one, the yellow will carry this way and take that rock out.
Other option is here. Yeah, but then they just freeze one on there. Yeah, let's go there.
Amber's
9,
looking
Kim,
at the right shot, in my opinion, and looking at the right side of that rock.
It's 9. Let's go.
9? Yeah.
If this crosses a bit, the red-yellow might drag a little and miss the back one. But I think if Kim can hit half to 2/3 here, she can make 2 of them go away.
9.5. Whoa. Whoa. Just 9.5. Whoa. Whoa. Hard. Quick. Hard, Amber. Hard.
Got them all separated. Leaves the yellow as shot stone. And it's wide open now.
Couldn't hit it any better. Just perfect positioning.
You notice they didn't throw it with huge weight. It was very controllable.
Okay.
Good call, good throw.
Like that or no? Yep. Okay.
Doesn't jam, does it?
What?
On that back red?
Oh, I was thinking like back 8.
Oh.
Just freeze it and roll off.
Okay.
Do you like that?
Sure. I totally misunderstood the call. I thought we were throwing a hit.
We could hit it if you want.
Whatever you
There
like.
it goes. Back 8's not bad.
Okay.
How much, Em?
Back 8.
Okay.
This is where you have to have a plan. Now, you probably started the
gotta
end
make
as a
it
team
into shot.
talking about something, whether it was to force or steal. And at this stage, you can't lose track, and you certainly can't have miscommunication from hack to house, because this is a critical part of the game.
Whoa, 1.
Well, isn't it key, Russ, to get rid of this yellow stone? Don't you want it out? Don't leave any chance for the deuce.
They're playing with fire a little bit. The argument is they want to go hard for the steal. They steal an 8, and they're in great shape here, so they're trying to tap that frozen.
Roll shooter, Ellie, roll shooter.
And they'll move it far enough to sit for shot stone, at least for the moment.
The danger with no guards, though, Vic, and not having the advantage of hammer is it allows Saskatchewan to sit possibly 2 here, and they don't want to give up a deuce.
I didn't really like the call. I
No.
thought the angle wasn't set up. If they've been one straight in front of the other, maybe that's the kind of thing that you're looking at to tap up, but I just didn't think it was setting up the way she thought.
Exactly. You were a very aggressive call. You hit
9.5.
it in the exact same spot with a bit of weight. The yellow one's gone. You roll over. There's no double. You force to 1, and you're in good shape.
Yep, hard! Hard! Whoa, whoa! Okay,
Oh,
that's
very
fine.
nice. Very nice to punch it out, avoiding the jam, Kim Schneider.
Fine.
Saskatchewan couldn't roll away too much without hitting that one onto the back one, so it still sets up a double for Rachel.
Yeah. Let's make sure we get it, though.
Yeah.
See the broom positioning here on the intern side. They're taking 0 ice. So if this runs dead straight, they almost miss it. So this has to be thrown awfully hard.
Yeah. Close. Yep. No.
Rachel Holman.
Yeah. Hard. Hard. Whoa.
Weagle,
Whoa,
Krivyacic.
whoa,
Hold the line, get the double. No, they'll punch it right by.
Not bad. Good shot.
Take a look at some of the numbers and we'll focus on the skips.
And Amber Holland with the superior numbers, but look at style of play. We talked about Amber and her like for conservative play. She's playing a ton of draws. She's had to get out of trouble. 6 beauties. Those were the big ones that she had to make and did. So she has the edge at that skip position right now.
The player numbers brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association.
9? Yeah. You like this? Yeah. Hey, let's go.
Actually, Kim,
Yeah,
that's
the other
fine.
turn?
2 choices here. You could hit it here and roll
That's fine.
over and set up,
No, the
probably
upstairs
set up a double. The other way, which is a little scarier, is hit it right there. Hit the lower one first. If you hit it exactly there, both these will slide past.
You got it. Let's go.
You can't really tell from the broom. I think they're playing the hit and roll.
It looks like it because Amber doesn't normally play big up weight.
And you would need some weight on that one. If you hit the back one first, you'd need a lot of weight to clear the 8 feet of rings with that back one.
Close.
No, she is playing the out turn.
You just need some speed then.
Gotta go. Whoa. 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 No. Hard on red.
And there they go.
Chachi elected to play the top one and hit it as thin as she could, and that brought in that back one, but just hit it in the perfect spot.
And now she's able to split it around the shot stone and sits 2.
Look at that angle there. That's a wonderful angle there where the yellow, if you accidentally jam the first yellow, the second yellow could possibly jam on the back red. It would be awfully unlucky.
So the double here, Linda, but there is a stone just outside the ring's back edge that they have to worry about.
She does throw these with up weight, which means they often spill off, but just took a lot of chances playing that tap.
Rachel Holman.
No. Yeah. Hard. 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 Hard.
Have they called this one? Angle it back, spin it around. Oh, we've seen great shots. A couple of boxers trading jabs here in the 8th.
You put yourself into trouble, you have to get yourself out of trouble. What a nice shot.
The big weight ability, but you have to be able to hit the broom, and that was just right up the center. Nice shot.
So Amber Holland will toss this one through to get the blank in 8. And on to 9 we go in a 5-4 Saskatchewan lead, and they'll also have the last rock. That was an outstanding end of curling. Some wonderful shot making by both skips. Results in a blank.
Nice shot, Heather.
And now Saskatchewan once again will have the last rock here in 9, leading by 1, 5-4.
Line's tight.
Weight's good. Let
Yeah,
it go.
Where's the weight?
5, 4.
Right there. Leave it. Yep.
Gotta
yeah,
go
line,
for 5.
line. Whoa, whoa.
it. Go.
Center guard come around and the freeze. And there it is.
That's just fabulous shot making, and they knew immediately that was light, right out of the hand. Judged it immediately.
Okay.
In a really nice spot.
Like that? Yep. Same weight, Terry. Yeah, you bet. You're tighter. No, you're okay. You're a little bit more line. Hey, room. Weight's great. Room. 4. Room now. 5 even. No. For 2 are yellow. Can we go around it?
Too late.
No line.
Now.
Wait for it.
I don't know.
Well, yep. Go, Kim. Okay. That's not bad.
If you're talking about Rachel Homan, the odds are against her going on to win. No team that came out of the 3-4 page playoff game has gone on to win the Scotties unless they came through a tiebreaker. That did happen 3 times. But otherwise, 13 of the 16 years, they've been people that played in the 1-2 game, 10 winners who went on to win the final as well, and 3 teams that lost the 1-2 game and then went on to win the championship title.
That's interesting. Eh? No 3s, no
Back line.
4s.
Yep, just through.
Direct seeds.
Okay. Yeah, I said that's fine now.
But last year, Kevin Cooey did it for the first time in the Brier, so there is always a first time for something, and maybe it'll be Rachel Homan's year.
Where? Yeah.
But first she needs to come back here as we play a 9. She's down by 1.
Whoa.
And Saskatchewan and Amber Holland trying not to let it slip away for a second straight day.
Whoa. Just over a bit. Good. Nice shot. Let's go, Tam. Take your time. Let's go.
Nice setup top 8 for those Red Rocks.
Yep. Clean. Good. You want a 3 or 2? 2, 3?
Yeah, either.
So this one's all about timing. We'll see how long Rachel puts up the guard before she makes any move into the rings, and we'll see how Amber wants to approach this, how long she peels.
As long as the guard's in the vicinity, it's hard not to be able to peel because you won't be able to go around the guard and hit either one of those red ones.
Yep. Hard. Right over. Keep going. Great shot. Nice one, Ellie. Get to nose. You like that? What kind of weight? Back 4. I don't mind it. Just push that to there. Let's go, Tammy.
This is one more end where you have to be very clear what you're trying to accomplish here. And I guess I get a little concerned when you peel one with the same player. You're now talking about a tap. So are you clear in your mind how you want to approach it onto Skip's Rock? So you're trying to get in a position where you're not facing a couple of red stones, because at the moment it's not terrible in the house if you peeled it.
Not at all. And the best Ontario can do is be top 8.
No, it's got a curl hair. Okay. That's not bad. It's not bad.
They do punch the Yellowstone back edge of the 4. That remains shot rock. It belongs to Saskatchewan.
We either do that.
But at the expense, Becca, leaving that center guard. And we watched this movie 2 ends ago.
The important thing is to roll under.
And we certainly watched it last night.
Or we can just get here to there. Be half open.
Let's draw.
What do you like better, Em?
I like the draw.
Okay, draw? Okay. We can even come and tap, eh? You can see half.
I can see less than a quarter.
Okay, well, it really goes. Guard's not really in play. Like, you can tap it to here. You can hit half the rock.
And they just knows that. I think I like it here.
You like here better?
Yeah.
I just think we can tap to a better spot.
Okay, if you want to play the tap, I will.
Sorry? Tap?
Okay.
At all costs, you want to preserve that center guard. So whatever shot you play, you don't want to risk a little rub on it.
Interested here to see how Emma throws this. She doesn't seem totally convinced.
8. Yep. 9. Whoa. Close. Wait, 9.
Emma Miskey wanted to go around everything.
Up. Yep.
No.
A lot of hers have been dying a bit. They've been yelling 9s and ending up with 7s. This might not be as heavy as they think.
No. Grinds. Sit.
And she'll tap it to the back button to sit for shot stone.
Play that double, Kim. Hey, think you got room there? Right there. 9.5.
Okay, 9.5, Kim. Let's go. Here you go.
Let's get pretty close to the guard here. Half a rock. Try to make that double.
Kim Schneider.
Whoa. Clean. Whoa. Clean. Whoa. No. Close.
Well by the guard. Now a little late brush. And they'll get it. And enough to push it all the way out. Nice throw, Kim Schneider.
It's quite the contrast, Linda. That shot would probably be made with bullet weight from Ontario, and Kim's made 2 or 3, and Amber made a beauty the other night with just that don't crack an egg weight. Just nice soft weight. Give it to the sweeper. As long as you hit it in the right spot, you can still execute.
Oh, that was a beauty. Just what the skip ordered.
Still a center guard for Ontario.
Control down. No. Get off.
Hasn't playing a shot they didn't want to play, and that's the hit. Another yellow rock in the house.
Hope so. Girl. Okay, hey.
To sit 2.
Slid wide.
The other option is to play this now.
I think we might have to play that now.
I don't mind that now. Do you think she'll play it though, or will she just draw?
If we nose this in our second and third, mind you, she make me
She'll play
hit
the
and
hit and
roll.
roll, I would think. Yeah.
Well, I think this isn't bad right now, Amber. No, it's not awful. You got to get that under.
Yeah.
So
Just off nosed. Like a 10?
yeah, either that or play your shooter under
Yeah.
a little bit, kind of just edge to edge. Leave that edge to edge. Like they'll still be shots. So
I don't know.
Like this isn't awful. She's gonna play it again, just if she gets the
or
roll.
the roll, yeah. What do you think?
Kind of like this one because if you other one, I don't mind it.
Do you think she plays these or do you think she draws?
Probably because we're going to be second shot. I think she's drawing. I don't mind this.
Okay.
Even just roll there to shot.
It probably is 6 of 1 here. You can hit this, but you don't want to see a hit and roll come back from Ontario. So I think that top one would make a little more sense, as long as you leave yourself a raise. So if you could hit it dead on, roll one buried, the thrown rock would be open for later, just in case you need to run it in there.
Yeah, I didn't like her talk about trying to roll the shooter. She might get an overlap, and then you've got a guard and overlap yellows that you can't use.
I don't think you could get that tight to the guard
I
either.
don't think so. They mentioned it, but I didn't think you could either.
Clean. Easy.
Now they're kind of hoping there isn't a hit and roll by Ontario.
Yep. Hard.
And now there may be. Interesting, the 2 stones difference. Moving up the house just that much, huh?
Well, each one gives a better and better roll, that's for sure.
I know. Yeah, it's hard to say. We have it for later if we need it, right? We weren't going to get shot off of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, one's not bad here anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Adam didn't. Go ahead.
Rachel Homan has made some wonderful shots in the last couple of ends. And it'll just peek out the other side. Back 4, but it is Ontario sitting 2 without last rock.
It rolled further than they wanted, and you'll see why as you watch the roll. Look at the lineup on the other side of the house. Yellow-red.
A little high side.
Tough spot here, though, Lindy. You have to really graze this guard, and you'd like to hit it maybe a little on the high side to get that rock to go that way. There's 2 ways to make that red double, but it's tough to get to the inside of that yellow rock. This is very dangerous. You tick the guard, you hit half the yellow. They're going to be drawn against 2 buried rocks virtually in the 4-foot.
Let's get it.
And keeping in mind your goal for the end, you have to make sure you do get by and make contact, even if you roll away and open it up a bit.
Yeah, just move that top one behind the tee line. You get a chance to score.
Nothing yet from Kalinchuk for Tammy Schneider. Now, get by the guard. They do. Did they cross the face? Yes, they did. They get a ball. You betcha. Amber Holland.
It's funny how rolls do occur. This is a brilliant shot, but just the fact that Ontario rolled to that one spot to leave it right in the place where they lined up.
Yeah, and, kudos to Amber for making such a great shot, and they did it again with that control weight. Raised double, moved 120 pounds of granite, and rolled it over beautifully. And now a difficult situation, because if you roll dead buried, Amber will have the exact same shot again.
They're the same. Hard. Yep. Little left. Hard. 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 Hard.
You get it going.
Hard
it's at that guard. It's at that guard. Oh, they couldn't hold it. And it'll be a little thin. And it'll spin and out. And so it'll be an open draw for 2 for Saskatchewan.
Is the last one weight? It seemed like it out of my hand.
Okay. Still the same. Just a 4 here now.
Yeah. Let's go. There you go. I was more positive on that one than I was on the last one.
What a wonderful opportunity.
All you, line straight.
Made a great shot with her first.
Running a bit.
And now trying to take advantage of the rollout by Ontario and Rachel Homan.
Clean it if you're okay. It's curling now.
Just put it in the paint. Anywhere in the house will do. In the house will do. You don't want to give it away. Oh, there they close the door. It stays in the house for 2. So here we go to the 10th end, and it's Saskatchewan leading by 3, looking to for that rematch against Jennifer Jones and Team Canada after dropping the 1-2 Page playoff game. Ontario does have the last rock here in 10, playing the Redstones.
Clean is fine. That's good, Heather.
So a little bit of punishment. I'm not really sure why you would play your first one in play anyways with a 3-point lead, but it came up short of where they wanted. So after the corner guard goes up by Rachel, off comes the rock in the 12.
And even if that wasn't in the rings, it was in the free guard zone, you can legally hit your own rock, and it's a great idea because that yellow rock was exactly where Rachel Holman had one where Amber came around in the third end and created a miss, and it's really another guard, and that's the last thing Saskatchewan needed.
Look up, it looks there. Stay with it. It's my broom. There. Thanks, Charlie.
To get 3, you need a mistake,
Here you go, Tammy. You got
flash,
that.
or a nose hit on one of these peel attempts. And you can tuck around the guard and get something going. Amber's going to try and prevent that with Tammy.
Yep. Yeah. Hard. Really hard. Hard. Quick. Clean. Good. Sweet. 2-2. Even.
Rachel Homan at 68%, Linda and Amber Holland at 81%. Is it as simple as just pointing at those numbers and saying that's why we're at this point?
Well, those have been the shots that we've seen of late make a big difference on the scoreboard. I think of last end, either of those rolls made by Rachel, and they were very makeable shots, would make a different story for sure. But it did start in other parts of the lineup. It always does.
A couple of Rachel's misses have been assisted by Amber's great shots. She's buried a few and made some tough runbacks for the Ontario team.
Couple of nice stones by Tammy Schneider.
It is interesting, though, for Rachel that it is the hits today that have been elusive. That is the strength. Sometimes, though, it is people like Amber Holland who consistently play the quieter weights that perhaps in a game like this where those shots, those key little rolls are made, you go to that shot more often, whereas Rachel is more used to playing the big up weight as her go-to shot. So sometimes that does cause problems.
So let's check the game story as it is to this point.
Well, you talk about the lead, Vic. You mentioned it, a little bit of a history. Well, will it happen again? No, they were able to do some good jobs. 1 steal and 7 on 1 mistake, but otherwise the deuce and 9. And the big edge at the skip position. Amber Holland, we were counting up those draws. Well, the last one in 9 was a little bit deep, but the rest were beauties.
The game story is brought to you by the Dominion, Canada's trusted insurance company. Going to get them both? Sure will, and leave the Yellowstone covering the edge of the 8-foot.
Wonderful try, a little bit thicker, and you might get them all.
Nice throw.
And credit to Saskatchewan, because sometimes if you think about the history, how you will have the same lead, that you're in a similar position, sometimes that gets into your head, but they've done a very nice job of staying composed and sticking to the plan.
We can't.
But we can get 3 that way.
No, because we'll just peel it and hit our rock. There aren't enough rocks to do that.
It would be a whole different story if that was a 2-point difference on the board. You look at that corner guard, you know you can duck in behind with this ice. You have a good chance to get the deuce and take it an extra. Giving up that extra point in 9 is the problem.
Okay, go right back, go. 6, back 12, go.
Have to hide it. You don't worry about being in front of the rings. It has to be hidden.
Right back 12, hard. Hard, Allie, hard. Hard. 9, hey. 2-2.
Did she say 9?
Straight up.
Yeah. Let's go. You got it.
Sometimes these are the tougher ones. You try hard to get that back one. You cannot miss this wide. This rock has to make some noise on something.
Whoa. Clean. Clean. Yep. Hard. Hard. Clean in.
I got it on Kim.
And so now you've got to make them count if you're Ontario. You're down by 3. You've got 3 stones remaining.
Good.
And it's very difficult to say the least.
Nice 2 solid throws by Kim. Probably the most improved curler from last year's Scotties.
A little bit more.
Emma Miskew.
Better. Get off then. Let it curl.
7 on its own.
It's on 8. No.
Off then.
9. Line's perfect, I think. It's got a bend though. It's
Finish a
got a
little,
rally. Allie, take it right back. Go. Hard.
Finish, Allie.
Hard.
Go,
Keep
go,
going.
go.
Keep going. Hard, hard, hard.
The back edge of the 8-foot. And now no fooling around.
Let's go.
Get rid of the guard, Linda, even if they put one in.
Just the peel,
You,
like it.
just make it go away.
You have an open shot. You never go after the little tap of this type of shot. Just get rid of the guard.
Let's go.
Taking the swingy turn here, not a lot of ice.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa.
Amber Holland.
Clean. Nice throw. Nice throw.
So a takeout away for Saskatchewan and Amber Holland
Nice
and
throw, Amber.
Rachel Homan. Now we'll try to find a spot. Maybe that there might be a mistake. But you can't ask for that, I think, when you're playing Holland. And you're looking at a young lady out of Canadian juniors, Canadian junior champion. And you have to think, considering the talent, one day a future Scotties champion too.
Whoa.
It's clear she brought all the lessons from juniors to this, her first Scotties. And Vic, it's clear that that kind of team will look at the lessons from this week, from this game, and be even better next year.
Well, you only have to look at the lessons learned by this Saskatchewan team a year ago at 6-5, failing to make the playoffs. Sat with their coach Murph Honger, worked on their deficiencies. As Russ already pointed out, you look at the
Just give you 9.
upgrade in the game of someone like Kim Schneider. And now as Jennifer Jones looks on, it'll be a rematch with 1 stone here in the 10th.
Keep the sticks on the ice here.
Clean it. Just clean.
Saskatchewan will play Team Canada for this year's Scotties title here in Charlottetown. Make the final 7-5. And so now Ontario will play for the bronze medal against Nova Scotia and Heather Smith-Dacey. We'll have the final for you Sunday evening at 6:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 Pacific. But before then, we'll have the bronze medal game. It'll come your way at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Nova Scotia against Ontario. Ontario coming up short. Ontario earning a rematch as they try to rebound from their loss 10-9 and an extra end to Jennifer Jones. Till we talk with you again on Sunday, the Scotties is here on Canada's sports leader, TSN.